All right, all right, Shalom. We're the Hebrew Israelites. Come out here week in and week out to prophesy the downfall, the daughter of Babylon, aka America. But first and foremost, I want to say call Halayim, Yahawah, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Harachachwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Gadala, Wakayim, which is Great Millstone, and the Lashawan Tahar, where I learned this truth from and who rule well. Salutations to the Bakiyar, the elect, the 144,000. That's 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. 12 tribes of Israel consist of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous of America. The 144,000 being the governing body within the 1/3. The rest of the 1/3 comprises of elect men, women, and children. Shalom to those Israelites scattered due to the diaspora and also the triangular trade. So our people come looking like different ethnicities, having various complexions. So it's not a black thing. We're not the black Hebrew Israelites. We're just Hebrew Israelites. Shalom to those that died in this truth. It says the dead should be raised up first. Those that will be accompanying YAHAWASHI on his return, including our King, King Mashah, who is King David. And as always, it's an honor and privilege, honor and blessing to continue to do this work. The water Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi Ba'ashem Harachachwadash for answering my prayers and permitting me to do such. Baba Kashah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi Ba'ashem Harachachwadash allowed us to be an edifying camp to at least one member of the elect. No soul I wanted to name this camp something very, provocative, under the lines of how fucking dare you. Thinking that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi was a liar, man. How fucking dare you? Because a big part with our people, they don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck until it's too late. And now we're at the point of time in which the doors of mercy are going to be slammed shut, as the angels are releasing the four winds of the earth, man. They're releasing the destruction. So how fucking dare you? The ultimate I told you so. That was given onto you people through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi's prophets, messiahs, saying things that are going to take place before they actually happen, man. Which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi used those men to, relay his message. Just bear with me. If I had a brother out here, I'll just tell him to get a certain scripture. But this is what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi wants me to do. And I'm more than happy to prove my worth onto him. YAHAWASHI Ratazah, he allows me to be moved in righteousness, right? But this is Numbers chapter 23, verse 19. It says, the Most High is not a man. Right, because in this flesh that we're in, this abode, this tabernacle, it produces fear. And that's the reason why people lie. They lie because they fear the consequences. But those that fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, they tell the truth because they know the consequences of a lie. Right? And that's the spirit that the Most High reflected onto the world through his elect, which is a characteristic of himself, a man that he shall not lie. Which that's the makeup of a immortal, which we're all striving to be the first fruits of immortality. It says the Most High is not a man that he should lie. Let's go to the etymology. The word lie means speak falsely, tell a untruth for the purpose of misleading. You know, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, being moved by the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi Ba'ashem HaRaKachodash, men that believe in the same doctrine. Pinpoint accuracy, man. What they will say, a bullseye, or hitting the target. And why is that? Because these things have already taken place in another dimension, man. That's why they were able to see the visions and, you know, see the dreams and expound on them for the latter time. Those revelations could be interpreted. You know? So those men were moved with the spirit to be misleading men, women. They were set up to tell the truth. Somebody is set up to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. And now the truth is speaking. Also says deceive, belie, betray. Especially when, you know, concerning this truth, this doctrine is what's gonna, you know, the belief in this doctrine is part of your salvation. If somebody is teaching you falsehoods, they're betraying you as a brother, man. They're going in the way of Cain. They're leading you to the path of destruction, man. Even when it comes to rebuke, the righteous spirit is to rebuke, but in hopes that that man will turn it around, man. That man will repent, not to continue to batter him down until, you know, you destroy him and, you know, he goes back into the world. That's the mind of an egotistical tyrant, which is not of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, man. You know, and, you know, as he told the truth about mercy, as he told the truth about destruction, There's going to be men, women, and children that are going to be gifted mercy in these times, and there's going to be individuals that are going to be gifted destruction, man. This is Numbers chapter 23, verse 19 again. It says, the Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Have he said, and shall he not do it? Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good? So now he's making his words good, man. The prophecies. Didn't he not say at the end, it shall speak and not lie? This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch. And that's what we're doing. We're watching the news. We're telling our people first and foremost, starting with the elect. And then in return, you others can get the breadcrumbs that fall off the table. We're really warning the elect to, the things that are coming, man. Because they are the only ones that are going to take heed. Right on time. Everyone else is going to be $1 short and a day late. Or however the fuck however it go. It says, and set me upon the watch, Slaki, and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. So this Bible was made plain upon tables, man, right? That he may run the race of faith, that readeth it, and it calls you to, be activated and inclined to give your life onto YAHAWASHI in his will, to be fully submitted to his will. It says, for the vision is yet for a appointed time, and we're in that time now, man. Isn't it not obvious? Can you not see it? What's wrong with your pupils? Are they dilated? Are you inebriated? Intoxicated? Your mind is heavy because of delusions. So that's the reason why a lot of you people think that this theme that we're in is going to continue forever, man. It says, but at the end it shall speak. So the truth is speaking right now, man. And not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So this destruction, these prophecies are surely coming, man. There's only now, one prophecy was just fulfilled with the whole Iran, Persia, which is, going on as we speak. Or as I speak. Well, I should say we, because, I'm being moved by the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Why else would, I'll be out here at the break of dawn? Spirit had me inspired and hyped up. I said, shit, man, let's go hard, as they say. Let's go full battle mode until, the Passover and beyond, man. Let's lock in. Let's try to come out here twice a week like we used to. Let's try to put up videos every single day, which I'm getting a lot better at. And prove to Yahawashi you a good woman. Continuing, it says, behold, his soul, which this is dealing with Esau, the so-called white man. As I always say, he started calling himself white in 1681 in Virginia due to the Bacon Rebellion, which he's not white, he's red. His blood shows forth through his skin. He has a lack of melanin, which is a part of that curse of Cain, which in these times, Cain is experiencing that curse upon him. Because in all actuality, these so-called white people are supposed to look, as dark as niggas. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Yeah, he's full of pride and he's wicked, man. And they sweep his wickedness underneath the rug. Look at the whole Epstein scandal, man. No one's going to jail. And here it is, you assholes out here always talk about, oh, I'll do this. Oh, I'll do that. To a child molester, to a pedophile. Oh, he's gonna get justice in the prisons. They gonna give him the boys in the prisons gonna give him the justice. But when it comes to the so-called white man, you hear crickets. And the reason why you hear crickets is because this asshole's in power. And it's a part of his nature to be a freak, to be evil, to be a miscreant, to be a tyrant, to be sinister. That's why he's going all around the world bombing people and threatening countries he gonna take them over. He just said, oh, I think Cuba needs to be a part of America. Which that's all part of Esau's plan as far as the international bankers, the elite bankers, because they want to make 3 blocks of these certain segments or districts of the New World Order. And according to the Monroe Doctrine, I guess, if you want to acknowledge his bullshit, because he doesn't, acknowledge anyone else's agreements and treaties. They say that America controls the northern, not the northern, but the Western Hemisphere. Go figure. And you don't know who the earth was given into the hands to. I wouldn't even be surprised if a missile hit this place right now, man. But it's coming. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. Right, the just is dealing with the elect. The elect are going to live by their confidence in the words, the truth of YAHAWASHI, man. What else do we got, man? That's our superpower, man. Our faith. Can't no one take faith away from you. And hell, you ought to be, concerned if one's faith is increasing. Because soon there's going to be men with the right amount of faith to have to be gifted spiritual powers, man. And that's why Esau's making all these damn robots and AI, and he just, got mad at Anthropic because they won't kowtow. But this is Esau's last ditch effort to keep his little queendom going, man. You gotta respect it. He's trying to fight like hell to avoid his judgment, man. And you gotta respect it. That's a harsh judgment, man. 1,000 years of hardcore slavery to the point where he gonna run to the extermination fire to be exterminated. And they depicted that in a movie. I don't know if it was the movie Us. But it was one of those movies where they were just running and skipping, holding hands, and running into the fiery flame. Yeah, man. But continuing, it says, and every time I lose my train of thought, I'm just gonna, practice just reading the scriptures, man. But anyway, continuing, it says, yeah, also because he transgressive by wine, he is a proud man. So this individual that we're dealing with is a proud, arrogant piece of shit, man. And you got these women, exercising, trying to get in shape because, in their mind, and, a lot of these women's mind, they know that, they need to be looking sort of decent and attractive in order to, get, protection in these times, man. A strong man. Now, I'm not saying, that's the only thing as a man in YAHAWASHI you look upon, just solely on the beauty. There's other aspects of that woman that you need to consider. But in a general sense, dealing with how, all hell's about to break loose. Yeah, these women in their right mind, they getting more attractive, man. Especially these heathen women, man. That's why I firmly believe, man, hey, the Most High is setting it up that, he's gonna do away with the extreme majority of you so-called black women, man. Not saying that there won't be any being saved for the purpose of being that elect lady to, bear children. But the Most High, he's gonna eliminate a lot of you, man. Cause look how much of the enemy you are, man. The thing about it is being less of an enemy. To try to beg YAHAWASHI to heal you through his word, man. To have a pure mind toward the Heavenly Father, to do right by him, man, as he will do right by you. It says, neither keep it at home, and this asshole's everywhere, man. Everywhere you go, that's where he's at, man. He's in the Amazon rainforest. He's in Antarctica. Anti-bear. He's in Snake Island. He's at Point Nemo. No, he's in China. He's in Europe. He's in the Arctic. He's in outer space. He's everywhere. He don't keep it at home like everybody else. Everybody else, their spirit is geared to be with, family and friends. To be chilling at the house. barbecuing or, feasting. Getting right with a little bit of yayan. But this asshole, he wants to go throughout the world just slaughtering people, man. At the start, from the start of 9/11 to now, they killed 4.5 million people, man, through their military operations. And right now, they're about to, kill even more. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Right, because he's trying to start his new world order, man. So he's trying to heap onto himself all these people. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against them? Which a parable is like a riddle, man. And that's what they're saying, man. They're about to be talking mad shit about this place when they cut down that Strait of Hormuz and 40% of the world's oil is hindered. When China gets involved and war is started in the Pacific, this is going to collapse this country overnight, man. So much for all that arrogancy and pride when they boasted about how much they don't need anybody else, man. They're self-sufficient. Which the way the Most High created all things, everything depends on another. When you have one thing that is just going around killing everything else and creating an imbalance and an unharmonious state, that thing is a parasite, it's a virus. There has to be some sort of medicine to provide a remedy. Which that remedy is prophecy, man. The judgments of YAHAWASHI. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe, which means destruction, to him that increaseth that which is not his. And what has he done, man? Over the, even the start of January, this so-called new year, 2026. Look what he did. He just did a photo op right in front of the oil tanker that they seized from Venezuela, man. They're about to go into Mexico, which I still got to do the precursor to the invasion, where they set up these certain cartels through the CIA. And that's why, when they ran their investigation, those cartels had 80% of their weapons American made, man. And then when you go into, certain these kingpins and crime lords, they always say they had help from the CIA, or they didn't know that they were working for the CIA. So the truth is coming out, man. The wicked is being revealed. It says, even going back to the whole cartel thing, which, they set that up as a order out of chaos scenario, man. They created the chaos so they could, present themselves to the world as the pseudo heroes that they think they are. As if they have this miraculous solution, which their solution is just to take the resources, man, to oppress the people. They're the only group of people that do that, man. And now we're about to see the judgment of these assholes, man. And nobody's gonna lift a finger the step in. You know, nobody's gonna stand in the way. He's not gonna be the general where you have his soldiers pow dive on him to prevent him from being taken out. Every hand of the laborer is gonna be against him, man. Even these other nations, the whole creation is gonna be fighting against this damn devil, man. Because when you go into, physiology, the body, anatomy, or all that shit, your body fights against something that is causing harm. Same thing with this earth, same thing with this creation, man. It's trying to correct itself. So, if it needs correction, there's something that needs to be corrected. And we're seeing that correction starting to take place right now, man. It says, "It's to him that ladeth himself with thick clay," which that word clay goes into the word abit, which goes into heavy debt, man. This damn devil is $200, $300 trillion in debt. And this, this, fraudulent system that he has set up, man, that's based upon usury. Everything that the Bible says not to do, this damn devil does, man. Verse 7, it says, "Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee?" So we're in a time in which they're going to rise up suddenly, man. I briefly, as I was walking out the door, saw something about how Saudi Arabia is now pissed off at the West. Even, people here, there's a degree of tension in the air, man. It says, "And awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them." Yeah, spoil. Because ultimately this place is going to get hit with nuclear missiles, man. It's going to get hit with nuclear destruction. Have we become your enemy because we tell you the truth? Everything that, has been said through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, flowing through the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, has been happening. Was it Jack Nicholson? I don't know. Yeah, the title of the movie, The Happening, came in my mind. I was thinking who's starring in that movie. I think it was Jack Nicholson, though. But everything that has been prophesied onto you people is now happening, man. Now you're just gonna have to, deal with that I don't give a fuck attitude, man. Because thou hast spoiled many nations. So America has spoiled many nations, man. Babylon the Great. Who else could it be, man? All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. So all of these nations, which really, the nation of Israel, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous, the elect of the nation of Israel, are going to spoil you rich Edomites, man. You elite Edomites. And therefore, when, you bring back forth the rest of the nation, all of you Edomites, man, are going to be a spoil. And you heathen nations, man. Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth a evil covetousness to his house. Right, he wants to add on everybody else's shit, man. And do nothing but just hoard it, man. And through his hoarding, that's why all these other nations are oppressed. And he laughs at them and calls them third world countries after he done pillaged them, man. It says that he may set his nest on high. And you know, your nest is your defense. You know? So he set his defense on high, and also his rulership is high, man. His rulership is at the top, the pinnacle, man. That he may be delivered from the power of evil. Because he thinks he's going to be delivered from the wrath of YAHAWASHI, man. By, you know, going into outer space. By trying to, you know, rule over the nations and heap all their resources. So he can gather the materials to fight back. You know? It says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people. Just as I, you know, said, 4.5 million people, man. And that's just dealing with, you know, the start of 2001. This asshole killed 4.5 million people, man, and counting. It says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timbers shall answer it. Which is dealing with the destruction that's going to happen to this place, man. The noise of the destruction. It says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. And all these American cities were built on the slaughtering of the indigenous. The killing of, you know, so-called black people. You know, the killing of so-called Latinos, man. All these cities were built on slaughter, on blood, man. Each and every last one of them. It says, woe to him that buildeth the town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. And he established this place, you know, by iniquity, by, you know, transgression. The law, statutes, and commandments, man. After he said that, you know, he called himself picking up the book and saying that he was of the people. It says, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge. So as we've seen throughout the past decades, the earth is being filled with the knowledge of YAHAWASHI, of the glory of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. Woe, destruction unto him that giveth his neighbor drink. Which that drink is representative of false doctrine, man. Falsehoods, lies, baloney. That putteth thy bottle to him, and that's what Esau does. He tries to indoctrinate your ass, man. He rears you at a young age with his madness, man. Why you think he got the men out of the house? And the government has become the man, and, you know, of course, the government is, you know, flawless with influencing the woman. They got that strategy down packed. I mean, they learned it during the transatlantic. And, you know, I believe those other heathen nations that taught them the craft. You know? It says it maketh him drunken also. So now these people believe in your madness, man. They believe in your BS. But the devil in you just can't, you know, contain himself. Those horns are always going to protrude no matter how much Hellboy tries to sear them down. He's always going to be the damn devil, man. It says that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. So now Esau, he's now being exposed. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Because when this place is burnt down to the ground, it's going to be known as the border of wickedness on how not to be, man. So much for being the good guys, huh? That's what these devils always, you know, fancy themselves as, the good guys. We're the good guys. Teaching their kids and shit. No, you're the fucking devil, man. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. When thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, which, you know, these signs are dealing with these prophecies. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So he told you what to look for concerning his return, man. We're in the days of his return. We're in the time of his return. And all you MFers ain't doing nothing but just wasting your time bullshitting, man. From the least to the greatest, if you ain't involved some way, some shape, some form, you know, and furthering the will of YAHAWASHI, man. Just wasting your time in life, man. You're at the last few dregs, those last few punk ass sips that ain't nothing but backwash, you know, of this society, man. Because that backwash, man, is bitter. If I could recollect, if I could remember correctly, that backwash ain't shit. And you people are about to experience the taste of that bitter backwash. Real quick, let me go to another precept. St. Matthew chapter 24 verse 6. It says, and you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. Rumors going to reports. You just had a skirmish that just set off, a new one, with Pakistan and Afghanistan, man. They was trading some blows. Which now that whole Middle Eastern is about to be, you know, hellfire and brimstone, man. And it's gonna reach over here to the States. Because, you know, Russia, they already had. When I was leaving the house, I was watching, you know, it said the Russian president has for lack of better words, set up a secret meeting, an emergency secret meeting dealing with the situation in the Middle East. So, hey, man, it's about to get on cracking, man. It says, see that ye be not troubled. Yeah, and if I died, then, you know, hey, so be it, man. That was the will of YAHAWASHI. Let his will be done, whether it be good or whether it be evil, man. You know, Yahawashi Ratazah, I die in righteousness if I do have to die. And I die according to his will. You know? I'm not doing this for no ulterior motives. I'm not doing it for no pat on the back or no glory in this world, man. And that's going to be proven, as it has already been proven. And everyone's faith is going to be proven, man. Are you ready to be proved? This is what's going to separate the believers from the non-believers, man. Anyways, it says, see that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And that's true. The end is not yet. There's still some ways to go. They still got to push the MOTB. The final destruction ain't coming till after they push the MOTB. Right? Which is the micro C hit. If anybody's saying anything different than that, which I knew, man, a lot of people knew the mark of the beast was the microchip way before they got on YouTube, man. Way before, especially if you grew up in hip hop, man. If you grew up in lyricism. You know, and you know, so-called conscience music. You know, which is way harder than that bullshit that Gene Simmons comes up with, man. It's way harder to be a so-called rapper or lyricist than it is to, you know, do the music that Gene Simmons do, that Jake made up any damn ways that you so-called white people stole. As you stole everything, man. Now it's coming out that, which we already knew, that you weren't the original Vikings. Also, we found out where you got your Ku Klux Klan attire and where, which they say, I have to go do further research. Goes back to Quetzalcoatl, I believe. You know, which really is YAHAWASHI. But that was the Moors that were worshiping that, man. That was Jake. But here it is, Esau, he comes in, he steals it and adopts it as his own. That's why people scratch their head when they talk about Aryans. When Aryans go back to the East Indians. So there ain't nothing original about you damn devils, man. You done stole everything. You even oppressed a man and his heritage, man. So what do you think is going to happen to you? Verse 7, it says, for nations shall rise against nations. So we're in that time right now. Nations are going to rise against each other, man. As they already are. America is going to get touched. That's when you people are gonna get that reality check, man. You don't got that magical force field that you thought you did, man. Your military consists majority of people that you done fucked over. So what the fuck they need to be fighting for you for? To further your racist agenda and racist society and system. And plus the Most High, he's gonna put the spirit of them not to fight. They refuse to fight. Another thing I saw when I was leaving the house is they hit a military base in Bahrain, and on the audio, I guess they said, "Oh shit, oh fuck," and you already know who was saying that. That was Esau, man. Because you know these Edomites are the ones that be squealing like goats. You know, as they are approaching their slaughter. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines." So what these wars are going to produce is global famine, man. Food shortages. Look at the blockade of Cuba. Look at what's going on in Venezuela, in parts of Africa, in Gaza. That's coming to America, man. And what are you people gonna do, man? What are you law enforcement gonna do? You people that work these beat jobs. You're gonna have to get in Rick Grimes mode yourself. It's gonna be a bloodbath, the purge. And that's exactly what these rich elite bankers want. They want a purge. They call it the culling. These wars are all set up. They know exactly what targets they have agreed to hit. They know the limit in which they have agreed to go. It's all theatrics, man. And guess what? It's the movie of YAHAWASHI, man. And despite one of the main characters, the antagonist, Esau, he thinks he's gonna continue forever. He thinks he's gonna win. Ride off into the sunset on his John Wayne. Bullshit. It says in pestilences. So, you know, I read reports that Iran said they're using chemical weapons, man. They ain't playing, man. From what I heard, they already retaliated against Israel, half of the port city. The Houthis already said that they're about to get involved. And I haven't even got into the news yet, man. It says in earthquakes in diverse places. And there's been earthquakes in various places. There's over 600,000 earthquakes just last year. And it's gonna get worse and worse as these bombs keep hitting the ground, softening the earth. If nuclear weapons are used. You know, they always depict in these movies how, you know, they're gonna nuke certain cities in America, man. One, New York. One, Washington, D.C. You know, L.A., San Francisco, they always come up. Right? It says all these are the beginning of sorrow. So we're in the beginning of sorrows, man. We're in the time of Jacob's trouble. But guess what? He, Jacob, the elect, shall be saved out of it. But going back to 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, verse 3, it says, "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world," and that's what the world has been experiencing these past decades, man. It's uproars of the people of the world, man. Walk on Wall Street, Black Lives Matter, March on the 1%. All these other movements that they've been having, man. Right? It says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right? And how did he speak of those things, man? One might ask. This is Baruch chapter 1, verse 17. It says, for we have sinned before YAHAWASHI. Who has sinned? The people on this sign, man. Who are the only group of people that can sin. Because they were the only group of people that were given the law, statutes, and commandments. And disobeyed him, and have not hearkened unto the voice of YAHAWASHI, our power to walk in the commandments that he gave us openly. Since the day that YAHAWASHI brought our forefathers out of the land of Martazarium onto this present day, and in this present day, now we're in America, man. And our people still are running amok, running astray. Lost. Some of you like to say through. It says, we have been disobedient unto YAHAWASHI, our power, and we have been negligent in not learning, in not hearing his voice. Right. There should be lines wrapped around the city block, man. Like, I'm selling In-N-Out burgers or something, man. Like we just came out with some spiritual pancakes. Hot cakes, selling hot cakes. Starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, man. And men on down and the order in which YAHAWASHI set up. Right? It says, wherefore the evils cleaved unto us, and the curse which YAHAWASHI appointed by Moses, his servant, at the time that he brought our fathers out of the land of Martazarium, to give us a land that floweth with milk and honey, like as it is to see this day. Nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of YAHAWASHI, our power, according unto all the words of the prophets. I've been doing this work for 16 years, man, and I've been knowing about this truth since I was a kid or a child. I don't like to say kid because it means sacrifice, or a goat, but since I was a child, man, I knew about this truth. And, the time in which the Most High really opened me up to it was about, 16 years ago, in 2010. Which, I say 2010 because that's when I first put my hand to the plow, but I was studying and knowing about the truth since like 08, 09. I just wasn't ready to come in at the time, man. I was dealing with shit that I needed to nip in the bud. Some things I did and some things, I had to still work on. But it is what it is. We're here now. 16 years later, the Most High still puts the Spirit on me to do His will. But, it says, nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of YAHAWASHI, our power, according unto all the words of the prophets whom he sent unto us. And that's starting with the Abba Bivens and all the men that are sincere and are of the elect that teach, or even those that transitioned. It says, but every man followed the imagination of his own wicked heart, which your heart is your mind, to serve strange gods. So you hearken on to strange gods that those gods don't even exist. And to do evil in the sight of YAHAWASHI and YAHAWASHI. And that's the reason why you people are about to be judged, man. Shame on you for thinking that there's no God. Because he's about to bring harsh judgment upon this place, man. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. In this particular verse, the Gentiles is dealing with these heathen nations. Prepare war. So now war is about to commence, man. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. So all those spirits that were created to be involved in these wars, to die and to fight in these wars, are here in these times to fulfill their lot. It says, let all the men of war draw near. And this is based upon the spirit of the prophets being subject unto the prophets, man. You're a prophet in your past life, you're going to be a prophet in this life, man. If you were righteous in your past life, you're going to be righteous in this life, man. If you don't have no blood on your hands in this life, chances are you didn't have no blood on your hands in your past life, man. It says, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords. You know, go to a industrialized economy, man. And they veered away from agricultural, because now it was, you know, time to, you know, progress. It says, in your pruning hooks and the spears, let the weak say I am strong. So now you have these once weak nations that were getting bullied. You know, they got themselves the equalizer, which is the nuclear missile, which really the nuclear missile is called the waster in the scriptures, man. Because it wastes everything that it touches. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh, and his mighty ones are his angels. The messengers, our brethren. They're going to be heavily involved in that war theater as well, man. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of YAHAWASHI. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, which that's going to be in that Levant region, Saudi, you know, the Saudi Arabian, Jordan, those regions, man. And, you know, those major players are already, you know, being active. They're being activated. It says, put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be dying, man. For the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Right? This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. It says the second woe is past, which the second woe was dealing with World War II, man. It says, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And we're in World War III, unquestioned. Right now, man. We're in World War III. So it's going to get worse and worse from here on out. So, this is from Judge Report. I'm going to read some of these headlines. If, the Spirit allows, I'll read a few articles. Since, we're already an hour in. So this is Judge Report. It says, Trump urges Iranians to overthrow government. Warns of American casualties. Report senior regime officials killed developing. Wire defense minister guards commander dead. State TV says many fatalities at girls' school. Operation Epic Fury. Acts of war unauthorized by Congress. Because he's the cruel tyrant. He's a man of lawlessness. He don't give a shit about the law and getting congressional approval. It says the general said no. World leaders feared broader escalation. Flights disrupted across the globe. It says it's war. USA and Israel launch major strike on Iran. Khamenei dead. Tehran hits American military bases. Explosions across Middle East. Tel Aviv targeted. Updates. Sky Live. Also, Dubai hotel erupts into flames after attack on the Palm. Missile seen over Abu Dhabi financial hub dent safe haven image. President faces furious backlash over Iran war no one voted for. And this economy is reeling, man. It really can't economically deal with a major war like this, man. Especially when they disrupt, traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. So let me go to AP, which is Associated Press. It says live updates. Iran's foreign minister says supreme leader and president are alive as far as I know. U.S. President Donald Trump has appealed to the Iranian people to take over your government. The U.S. and Israel launched a major attack on Iran on Saturday, which, they wanted to try to do the attack while the markets were closed, considering that this economy is teeter-tottering on the brink of destruction. They wanted to give the markets time to digest what just transpired, but hey, just imagine if one of those carriers went and got sunk, how the markets will respond, man. Possibly Monday morning, gas prices might shoot up to $30 to $40, $50 a gallon, man. Mind you, all these insiders and, you know, people like Lindsey Williams, they always said prepare for 6 to 8 months. And they want to implement Fed now, 3 months from now? No, 4 months from now, in July. So that's 6 to 8 months is right around the time of November, man. So things are gonna get real interesting, man. And things is gonna get real tragic. It says, in U.S. President Donald Trump called on the Iranian public to seize control of your destiny by rising up against the Islamic leadership that has ruled the nation since 1979. But you fucking devils have been ruling this country since what, 1776? Or even before then, when you came and stole the land and slaughtered the indigenous? Nobody voted for you damn devils. Nobody wanted your democracy. Which democracy ain't even in the Bible, man. It's not in the scriptures. That's of you. That's of you heathen nations. It says, follow not the ways of you heathens, man. When you go into the kingdom of heaven, it's a feudalism, a feudal system, man. It's not no fucking democracy. But that's the damn devil for you, man. It says the strikes open a stunning new chapter in U.S. intervention in Iran and marked the second time in 8 months that the Trump administration has used military force against the Islamic Republic. So this is the second time in 8 months, man. Which, you know, this is all biblical, man. You know? It says what we know so far, the strikes, some of the first strikes appeared to hit areas around the offices of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and Iranian media reported strikes nationwide. Smoke could be seen rising from the capital. It wasn't immediately clear whether the 86-year-old leader was in his offices at the time of the strike. Iran retaliated. Hours after the strikes, Iran retaliated by firing missiles and drones toward Israel and U.S. military bases in the region. Trump's statement: the U.S. president justified the military action by claiming that Iran has continued to develop its nuclear program and plans to develop missiles to reach the U.S. Trump also listed grievances stretching back to the beginning of the Islamic Republic. So, okay, how is it? What does the Bible got to do with it, though? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 28. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, the eastern hemisphere, man, where this World War III is predominantly going to be fought, right? Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. Let me see if I could do some quick research. yesterday, the 20th. Let me see. I'm trying to get some current. Let me see. Here's what world leaders are saying, and this is from New York Times. So you gotta take what they say with a grain of salt. Never mind. They want too much. You gotta do all this signing in on these shits, man, on these websites. I'm not finna do all that shit to read an article that you done mirrored from another website in the first place. But it says, I'll just ask Copilot. So just bear with me. Okay, you can get a clear picture of what world leaders are saying about the Iran attacks by looking directly at their verbatim quotes from the most recent reporting. These are the strongest confirmed statements available right now, direct quotes from world leaders. European Union, Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Union, developments in Iran are greatly concerning. She emphasized the need to prevent escalation and protect nuclear safety. Ursula von der also said, and Antonio Costa in a joint EU statement said, we call on all parties to exercise maximum restraint to protect civilians and to fully respect international law. But America don't give a shit about international law. These white people think that they're above the law until they get punched in their fucking mouth, man. Britain, France, and Germany, joint statement from the three governments. We reiterate our commitment to regional stability and call on Iran to refrain from indiscriminate military strikes. Iran said Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on X, the United States has committed a grave violation of the UN Charter, international law, and the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Oh man. Foreign Minister Badr Busadi addressing the U.S., this is not your war. Right, because those Amalekites that call themselves Israelis, they drew the Americans into this war, man, through the corruption of Benjamin Netanyahu. You know? Let me see. Let's see what they got going on in one of their allies. Let me go ask Copilot because it's not showing nothing on their site. So how China reacted, it says China reaction is focused on de-escalation and formal UN involvement. Direct action statements, China requested an urgent UN Security Council meeting to address the situation around Iran. While the reporting does not include a long direct quote from a Chinese official, the act of formally calling for emergency UN Security Council, United Nations Security Council session is itself a diplomatic statement. China is signaling that the U.S.-Israel strikes and Iran's retaliation are destabilizing enough to require immediate international intervention. What this means in practice: China is positioning itself as a stabilizer, not a side taker. Beijing's priority is preventing a regional war that would disrupt energy markets and global trade. And this is the war that's going to disrupt energy markets and global trade, man. The Most High push the button, man. Next prophecy. Russia. Russia's response is sharper and more urgent, emphasizing danger, evacuation, and UN action. Direct action statements. Russia requested an urgent UN Security Council meeting alongside China. The Russian embassy urged its citizens to leave Iran. Russia's state nuclear agency, Rosatom, evacuated personnel from Iran. These are not radical statements, they are operational moves that communicate Russia's assessment that the situation is dangerous and escalating. So we're in a time you have to keep your head on a swivel, right? It says what this means in practice: Moscow is signaling that the conflict is severe enough to threaten Russian nationals and strategic assets. By pushing the UNSC meeting, Russia is trying to frame the U.S.-Israel strikes as destabilizing and requiring international scrutiny. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's reaction is the most emotionally charged and directly worded because Iran's retaliation hit the Gulf region. Direct quote: Saudi Arabia called Iran's strike on Riyadh cowardly. This is the strongest explicit quote from any major regional actor. What this means in practice: Saudi Arabia is publicly condemning Iran's actions, framing them as illegitimate and aggressive. The language suggests Riyadh sees Iran's retaliation as a direct threat to Gulf stability, not just a U.S.-Iran issue. Which I think AI is lying. I saw something totally different.
It's got bullet holes in it. Zippy's was their last stop. Make your next stop.
Iran's deadly retaliation, Trump in shock. Iran strikes U.S. bases, explosions rocks Bahrain. Explosions rock Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait after Israel attack. It says Iran strikes 9 U.S. bases across Gulf. Yeah, man, it's getting... I probably could go further in depth since this, everything is so fresh. But as you probably know by the time you watch this video, man, it's getting deep, man. As far as Saudi Arabia goes, I guess I read it wrong when I was at the house. I guess they just condemned Iran of hitting their bases, but you're guilty by association, man. But in return, the Most High is going to put the spirit on these Arab nations to come together to persecute America and Israel, man. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 28, it says, "Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots." Also, all those different proxy armies, also those different Arab countries. You always have to keep in mind that the whole world is going to be against this damn devil, man, according to the Holy Bible. It says, "And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble." So now we have to wait for these Arab nations to get busy, man. And that's when you're going to start to see Iran have the upper hand, man. That's when Iran is going to be that wild boar, right? Also, the Carmanians, which is the word or the name Carmen, which was a province of ancient Persia, which Persia changed its name to Iran, I believe, in 1935. It says, also the Carmanians raging in wrath. So they're going to be raging in wrath. Shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them. So those are Arabian states and Iran are going to join battle together because basically, they all follow the same religion. And they're seeing how, the white boy keeps playing with them, giving them the shit end of the stick. Look what he's doing with OPEC, and also the threat of going electrical, going digital. That's going to undermine the oil markets of those Arabian countries, so there ain't going to be no more Dubai. Which that's how they have began to be prosperous. But in the white boy's mind, he want to take over them too. It says, "And with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians," which are those U.S. military bases, man. And that's happening right now. That's happening as I speak. This prophecy is happening right now. "And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them." So they're all going to form this big alliance, and they're going to go to war with the West, man. And eventually it's just going to be all these nations of the world against America and Israel, but Russia, which is God, leading the charge before the Messiah comes and wipes them all out the way, man. And puts the final nail in Esau's coffin. Right? Can't forget about YAHAWASHI and his army, an army from a whole nother realm, coming to layeth the smacketh the downeth upon Esau, man. It says, verse 32, "Then these shall be troubled bled and keep silence through their power, and shall flee." They're going to retreat, man. It's not going to go the way in which Donald Trump's arrogant ass thinks it's going to go. He should have listened to his war planners, his generals, when they said, don't do it. Then these I read that. It says, "And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them, and in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings." Which this is going to escalate, man. Hey, man, we're in the beginning of it. Getting a little excited. If it ain't for nothing but to, be excited about YAHAWASHI's word coming to pass, man. It's dope. Let's see how much time I got left. I do kind of want to 30. So always be on the, what you call it? So let's go to go to Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1. It says, the burden of Babylon, which Babylon in the Hebrew is the word Babel, which means confusion, man. America breeds nothing but confusion, man. That's why they can't define what a woman is. That's why you got, women acting like they men. And then you look at them and you wonder, is that how a man acts? Then you gotta raise the people's eyebrow on their ass, man. And look at that jabroni. And then, I was watching that Drewski video about the dyke and shit, talking about her voice is nurturing. No, nigga. That shit is not attractive. That's why a lot of these bull sharks, they're gonna get put to death out here, man. Or just like that bull shark that was in that movie, or that skit. She wanted to get, the pipe now. She wanted to go the pipe route. Which a lot of them are going to try to make that transition, but it ain't going to mean shit. Because the only way you're going to be protected is if you're with the man of YAHAWASHI, man. See, these people don't even know the gravity of the situation, man. They don't even understand that they're in World War III right now, man. Here in the middle of, we're in Vegas right now. People don't understand that they're in World War III right now, man. At any given moment, because this is a major city, at any given moment there could be a nuclear strike on this shit, man. Because there's going to be nuclear weapons, catastrophes that are going to happen before YAHAWASHI returns, man. I believe. Just like half or a portion of America is going to be taken. Most High is going to give this damn devil some humble pot, man. And it's for all the blood that he spilt, man, of the people on this side. The one that the Most High cares the most about. It says, lift you up a banner, which the banner is his truth, upon the high mountain, which is, America, since it's the #1 superpower. Exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles, which is, the ones in charge. I have commanded my sanctified ones, which is the elect. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, which is the angels. Even them that rejoice in my highness. And we rejoice in YAHAWASHI's highness. No matter what situation we going through. Yeah, sometimes me personally, I might, what do you call it? Talk out loud. I'll say that. Sometimes I talk like out loud, but in my mind, I have, I'll be thinking, shit, man. Why the Most High, put that spirit on me instead of this spirit? Let me try to fight to get to the spirit that I need to be in, or, I wish the Most High would have me stop saying certain shit, man. But it's all through the spirit. As long as I'm speaking the truth and not a lie, it's, it is what it is, man. But continuing, It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts, which is armies, mustereth the host of the battle. So it's the Most High that's pushing these conflicts, that's pushing these nations into war, man. That's YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI doing it, man. Just as it's YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI leading the steps of men to come out here to report on it, man, and to do videos throughout the week, to dedicate their lives to a righteous cause, man. The only righteous cause. It says they come from a far country, which that's talking about the ICBMs and those nuclear hypersonic missiles. From the end of heaven, even Yahweh, which YAHAWASHI is coming with the angels, you know. It says, even Yahweh in the weapons of his indignation, which his indignation is his righteous anger, to destroy the whole land, which that land is singular. Which that land is dealing with America, man. America is prophesied to be wiped off the face of the earth, man. Along with Israel, but Israel is going to be brought back. It's going to be rehabilitated. It's going to be habitable again. It says, "Howl ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty, from the terrible demon-like power, man. And it's going to be so bad that you people going to know it's a higher power doing it, man. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt." You people are going to be afraid if you're not afraid now. Real soon you're going to be terrified, petrified, horrified. You know? It said, and if you, in case you wondering, in the background the crowd was going, "What? What?" Like Stone Cold. You know, not to be, forgive me for my folly, you know, for, you know, being in that, I don't know why, I haven't been watching wrestling at all, really. You know, but, you know, I'm got that little wrestling demon on me, I guess you could say, man. But continuing, it says, "And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames." These people are going to be, they're going to be scared as hell, man. I can't wait. Even seeing these weak demons at the gym, man. I know they know. You know, I want them to be afraid. I want them to fear, man. Verse 9, it says, "Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate." So his purpose is to lay this land desolate, man. Right? "And he shall destroy the sinners there out of it." So all you Israelites that transgress willfully the laws, statutes, and commandments, all you going to be put to death, man. And the mass majority of you going to be the women. "For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light," because of nuclear winter and, you know, the bombs, you know, and the destruction. "The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease." So the arrogancy of you so-called white people is going to cease. "You Edomites. And will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold." So the elect man is going to be more precious than fine gold out here, man. It's going to be like, it's going to be like a big walking diamond or a precious jewel that you know you can't touch and you can't F with, man. It's going to be like fine gold. That's how the elect men are going to be in these days. They're going to be like fine gold, very precious, very sought after. And then all you stupid women that rejected the men of the Lord, women are going to be mocking you. How'd you fumble that, bitch? Because you like calling each other bitches. You hella fumble, bitch. Where you at, bitch? Because that's what you are, a bitch. A fucking dog. It says, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir, which was the gold that Solomon was extracting from the Americas, man. Therefore will I shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh host, and in the day of his fierce anger. So we're in the days of his fierce anger, man. Okay, laptop dying. It says, and it shall be as the chase roe, which is a deer, which that's Esau, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. Ain't nobody's gonna come to your aid, man. All these nations have a story to tell about your oppression. They shall every man turn to his own people. You're gonna start seeing a mass exodus. You're gonna start seeing people become more high school and tribal. You know, dwelling with their own kind, right? Some even going back to their own country. It says, and flee everyone into his own land. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined onto them shall fall by the sword. So all you that side with this damn devil and his system, you're all gonna die, man. You're all gonna be destroyed, man. And even you niggas that don't specifically are involved in the system, you're gonna be destroyed by association. And your mind is fixated toward them, man. It says their children also shall be dashed to pieces. And what's going to happen with that? That's going to be the wars. That's going to be ICE going to, you know, your houses, your apartments, killing your spouse, killing your children. They don't have a problem with, because these are not Americans that are in ICE. That's the reason why they cover their faces, man. They showed you the rerun in the Purge movies. How it was the so-called white boy going into the Jake's neighborhoods and killing and torturing people, man. You know, which rumors have it that it ain't nothing but a bunch of Mossad agents, or whatever the special forces of Israel are, man. You know? It says their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled. A lot of you going to get taken out of your houses. Your possessions are going to be destroyed. And their wives ravished. Their wives is going to get raped. And there's a lot of sickos out there, man, that can't wait, that don't really get no play, don't know the warmth of a woman. They can't wait to, you know, bust the door down and see something bodacious. No, it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. The Medes are the Russians, man. And we just read the quote in which, you know, it seems like they heavily concerned, man. They even sent weapon cargoes to Iran, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna send more. This shit is about to get on and cracking, man, because now these major superpowers have to get involved, because now this damn devil is fucking up the money, fucking up with people's livelihoods. It says, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Right, because they're still going to shoot their nuclear missiles on this place. They're not going to extract the precious metals, the resources out of this place before they destroy it. They're just going to say, fuck this place. Which really, that's the attitude of the Heavenly Father and His Son. That's the attitude that they're translating through the action of these nations surrounding America and shooting all their nuclear missiles on it, man. That's the judgment of the Heavenly Father. It says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Right, because those missiles, they don't care, man. It's not going to exclude your woman. It's not going to exclude your crying ass kid, man. It says, in Babylon, which is America, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, which is the rich elite bankers, because this is their corporation. It's not a country, it's a corporation, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And Sodom and Gomorrah was burnt with fire, man. The Most High caused Adam to split over their ass, man, and burn all their LGBT asses up. It says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. Right, so you're going to have these top merchants of the nations coming over here and setting up shop, man. You know, like Ishmael. You know, you ain't going to have none of these bodegas and corner stores. It's all going to be done away with. It's going to be turned into a vast desert with desert creatures, man. So in reality, it's still, out of this destruction, it's going to still bring forth life. that is suitable for desert-like habitat. Animals that have, you know, a desert is their niche. Verse 22, it says, and the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. And hey, they talking about 2030. Well, shit, we in 2026. That's only 4 years from now, or less than 3. You know, so who knows what's going to happen between now and then. But for the sake of this laptop dying, I hope at least one brother of the elect was edified. And I'm going to say shalom. Well, Yahawasha Ratazah, be back tomorrow.